This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
So hey everybody, another fantastic guest. I'm sure you recognize that logo on that shirt, Jiffy Lube, major company. So and we've got Bob Peltz here. He's the technical field support manager, and Bob has got 35 years. You going to retire anytime soon, or
5 years away? I'm 5 years away.
35 years of automotive technical experience. He's an ASA certified master technician, technical training at the OE level, and developer of technical training for the Jiffy Lube Corporation. So anyway, we are here at the MAP conference, and there's 3 of those a year. We're at the MAP conference here in beautiful Orlando, right on the International Drive. So just got a couple questions for you, Bob, real quick.
Sure.
You guys have been a member of this organization for Jiffy Lube for over 20 years.
20 years. In fact, AMRA does the business meeting at the SEMA convention in Las Vegas.
Right.
And just at the Las Vegas meeting, Jeff put up a big sign that had Jiffy Lube at 20 years. So we had just gone over 20 years, which I didn't even know. I thought, man, this is great. You know, I've been with Jiffy Lube for over 5 years.
Okay.
I knew we had a relationship. I didn't realize it was 20 years. So I actually had him stop it so I could take a picture of it.
Right.
And we were 20 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, how important do you feel that the Motorist Assurance Program, or AMRA, Automotive Maintenance Repair Association, how important do you feel it is to your company, the Jiffy Lube?
Well, again, being a member for 20 years, we've utilized the information, and we've been a big supporter at different times, and also for different, I want to say we utilize the MAP information in different ways. I mean, probably the biggest example is inside of MAP, there is a set of standards that components are inspected by, and we use the same terminology when we inspect the vehicle. And so what we do is we have taken that information and we have actually integrated into our inspection process.
Okay.
Right at the shop floor. So I want you to picture a vehicle coming in for, we call it a signature service oil change. And when the vehicle comes in, it gets an inspection during the oil change.
Right.
And that inspection process at the shop floor is the same.
Is the same.
Because
it follows the process.
The standard.
Right.
So this way, when we're cutting to the end where there might be a recommendation for something that needs service, we're using the same standards. And it's the same at every store. So if they went to one Jiffy Lube and then went to another, that process is the same.
And that's what I want to get across to any of you independent auto repair shops out there. If you've been watching some of these videos, these podcasts that we've done at this particular MAP conference, you're hearing the same thing over and over again. We needed a set of standards that we can follow and we can go by. And these big corporations have got big by following that same set of standards. Yep. And AMRA and MAP have been instrumental in providing that to the industry. How does MAP help you build trust with your customers?
Well, I think in multiple ways, of course, at multiple levels. But if you're just, I always kind of back it up to say, all right, well, why or how would a customer want to come to Jiffy Lube, right? Maybe they're on the MAP website. That's where I'd love them to be there, right?
Right.
If you go onto the motorist website and you put in your zip code, it immediately comes up with shops in your area.
Right.
And Jiffy Lube will be on that. So hopefully a customer is making the decision to come to Jiffy Lube. And so that's like number one thing is to be up in front, right? We're up in front. So you type in, go ahead and try that when you get home. Type in your zip code and see what shops come up. And you'll see that we'll have shops there. And then again, just back to what I said earlier, as soon as you roll into that shop, you're going to be followed by the same MAP standards all the way through. So the example, let me give you another example of how the standard helps us. Being in with MAP, we're always looking at the standards. And when we look at the standards, there might be a change on the way something gets inspected. So when we see that change, my job at Jiffy Lube is to take that change and then test it against our own training. And if it needs to be adjusted or fixed, that's my job. I make sure it meets the new standard. So that's big time important, right? To make sure it's up to me to make sure it stays, that we're staying in line with standards.
Yeah. How many stores? Jiffy Lube?
Over 2,000.
Over 2,000. So you better have a system for maintaining.
Yes.
And this is a big part of it, correct?
Absolutely. We take those standards, we use it as a baseline for our training, and then from our training, we test it against. We take our training and test it against the standard.
Right. Okay.
And as long as we're in line, We look at that, and then we also look at ASE as well.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
We look at
Yep.
ASE standards as well.
Yep, ASE.
Yep.
And that's in all of my workshops. I'm always promoting, for a shop owner for $200 a year, what is that, the cost of a lunch? You can have this badge on your website that lets your customers know that you are, it's another trust symbol to get on the website that gives you an edge over your competitors. People are subconscious, so when they see a modern current website and they see those trust badges, they see your good reviews front and center right away as soon as the website loads, that helps them build trust. And that consumer doesn't know why they chose your repair shop over this guy's over here, but I do.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yep.
one last question. Why should other organizations join MAP? Why should other organizations join AMRA?
Well, you almost answered the question at the
right
end there,
Okay.
but I want to follow it up and agree with you that if you're a member of this organization, first off, a couple different things to that. Okay, let me back up for just a second. And I said it was my job to test our training against the MAP standards.
Right.
Well, coming to these meetings, we get a lot of technical information here. Guess what? That's my job.
That's your job.
To get it
Technical.
into the training.
Right.
So now you ask, to answer your final question here then about, well, then why is it important for somebody else to get involved? Well, you're missing out on a ton of industry experts here giving you great information. Number one, at least from the technical side. Now, from the business side, of course, we talked earlier about the website, putting your zip code in there, and then your shop pops up on the search.
Sure.
So just from that, but then, meeting people, talking to people at these meetings is you can't find that in a textbook. You can't find
That's
that on
for
YouTube.
sure.
You got to meet and talk to these people.
Yep, that's it.
And because then you get somebody's phone number, you get somebody's email. And then when you got a question, you just call them up. In fact, I had to do it earlier. I had a car, wasn't working on a scan tool. And I talked to the one gentleman downstairs that he was the designer of that scan tool, and he gave me the little trick. He says, I want you to try this and call me back. So I wouldn't be able to find that anywhere else.
Yeah,
so
except
that's
for
what's
at a
important
conference
for
like
being
this.
like here.
Yeah. So whether you're a corporate executive watching this, you definitely want to belong to AMRA, or if you're a little independent auto repair shop in some small town in America, you still want to belong to the MAP program. Bob, thanks a lot for your time.
Absolutely.
I know you cut a few minutes out of the conference to meet with us. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.